So JFK and Trump made a statement yesterday that they'd found a cure for autism. The way I came across this was I was actually looking online and there was a live feed and it said live Donald Trump makes a statement from the White House or something. And I thought, and it said something about his, I thought it said about his medical condition. And I thought, oh my God, is he making a statement to the world, or certainly to the US, that he is terminally ill? Because obviously I wouldn't have clicked on it otherwise. So I clicked on it and I was literally there on time. This was live for him to say, well, guys, we've done it. We have found the cure for autism. I mean, there's not much difference between that and saying, you know, we found the cure for cancer. Because it's, you know, it's definitely a major condition, if it's a condition at all. So there was a slight pause. He kind of fumbled over a word. But it transpired that the cure is paracetamol. At that stage, I burst out laughing, and I think a lot of people did. Looking around online at the moment, there's a lot of memes going around about this. A lot of people were laughing. And I think the world was then divided into three. There must have been some people who thought, at last, a cure for autism, if we can use that word, because there are many different words to describe this condition, which is quite complex. So that was some people, and there were some people like me who thought, this is a Monty Python sketch or a Saturday Live sketch. You know, it's as good as that in terms of comedy. And then there was one very small fraction of people, normally kind of people involved in communications of worldwide medical authorities across the globe, who kind of thought, we need to react immediately to this. And they had to put out statements, different nationalities, you remember whether you're French or English, German, they all made statements basically saying paracetamol is a safe and well tolerated treatment for pain for women during pregnancy, and you shouldn't take any notice of this, basically, you know. So they haven't found a cure for autism. They don't even know what autism is. I mean, what is autism? You know, it's part of a spectrum disorder? Does it even exist? Is there natural neurodiversity among people? It used to be called, is it Asperger's? Is it, you know, just neurodiversity, basically, you know, people operating in different ways? Is it even an illness, people who have sort of are neurodiverse, if you like? In other words, they don't operate in the social world necessarily exactly the same as the majority seem to. Is it even a problem, actually? None of those things came up, of course. They just used this sort of heavy, rather old-fashioned word, actually, autism. And the research, there was no research. It was completely bizarre. I mean, Trump might as well have said, or JFK, I mean, I don't know which is worse. I mean, JFK seems to have completely lost his mind, but, you know, and gone quack, quack down the rabbit hole completely. But they might as well have said that we have found a cure for death. Why didn't he do a live report from the White House? We have found a cure for death. And now over to my medical minister, JFK, to explain the details. This is wonderful news, guys. JFK would have come on and crawled on and he would have said, we have discovered a correlation between drinking pure water and dying. According to our research, all of our research guinea pigs who died had drunk pure water. And therefore there must be a correlation between the two. We do not believe that drinking water with a Coca-Cola syrup in it is dangerous, nor is drinking water where there has been concentrated orange, nor is water that has been used for the brewing of beer. These things appear to be safe, but because not all of the test group were beer drinkers, orange juice drinkers, or Coca-Cola drinkers, but all of those who died had at some stage drunken pure water. It's about as ridiculous. The research is about as ridiculous as that, but they do not care. So yeah, my only thoughts about this, apart from it being a kind of, hilarious tragedy that things have reached this point, is that is a question of if something is quite so bizarre, is it a ploy? Is it a ruse? Is it a trick? Is it what Steve Bannon said, which was kind of keep throwing shit at the public and, we could just do whatever we want? Is it kind of part of that? Is Trump just mouthing the words, we have found a cure for autism, it is paracetamol? Or does he really believe it internally, intrinsically? And it's an interesting question. Trump, I'm not sure whether he gives a damn, really. He doesn't really give a damn about anything, so why should he give a damn about this? But JFK is more interesting. He believes it. And why do I think that he believes it wholeheartedly? Well, for all the reasons I've mentioned in other videos, about how easily the mind can trick itself into believing something that's just completely ludicrous. And I'm not going to go over that again. But I will just tell you a story that about 25 years ago, maybe even longer, just when, I mentioned it before and I'm not ashamed to mention him again, because he's such a cute little innocent figure now, working away in the shadows, while the whole world has gone completely nuts around him. David Icke. Now, when David Icke started, he appeared on a popular TV show called Wogan, and he had been a normal sports presenter for the BBC, presenting mainly the snooker, but also other sports. Regular guy. And then he turns up on the BBC, on the Wogan programme, in a turquoise tracksuit and says, all of the stuff that he's now famous for, but mainly kind of, he was the son of a godhead who was on the earth in order to tell us that we are, we're playing with fire and we must change, and various other he kind of hinted at what was to come about the sort of reptilians and conspiracies and things like that. But it was a real shock to the nation. Now, it was quite unnerving, really, because it was kind of the first time, in a way, that somebody that you kind of think is normal comes down and suddenly says, I am, a prophet, and I'm coming to tell you that you're destroying the earth unless you change your ways, kind of stuff. I mean, it did make you think a little bit. You think, this is weird. So I kind of had to get to the bottom of this. So I interviewed David Icke, not face to face. Actually, it was online. It was using email at the time, a very early kind of version of email. And I think he was in America at the time. I'm not sure, and I think he was doing one of his very early kind of book tours. And I was convinced that he was making this up. I couldn't believe that he had kind of fallen into this strange kind of belief and conspiracy so quickly, so violently. Having come from, he was a green politician, a sensible guy in many respects, but he kind of overnight had sort of, adopted these beliefs. And I couldn't believe that this was just, I don't know, some sort of personal revelation of something. I didn't know what it was. So I kind of pushed him on this a bit. Anyway, the conclusion of my interview with David Icke was that he was utterly convinced by his epiphany that he'd had about the world. And, you know, let's not go into, you know, what that comprised. I mean, it was all sorts of things. The moon is an empty shell satellite with aliens in it. I mean, it's just gone madder and madder as the decades have gone on. But no, he was utterly convinced about it. And I think that was a revelation for me, actually. Before that, I used to think that people believe things normally, not believe things, but people who had something to gain, like the publicity of being a madman, or saying strange things, that it was a kind of, you know, sort of Machiavellian, expedient, manipulative kind of thing. But no, it's genuine. They believe it. It's like a kind of, it's like they're having a hallucination right in front of you. It's almost like they've dipped into psychosis, and yet they appear totally, well, they are totally functional and normal. And that was an interesting moment for me. And actually, at the end, I have to say that David Icke did actually say, I'm quite proud of this, he did actually say that I was part of a kind of conspiracy to bring him down. That, you know, even though I was just asking you, I said, surely you don't believe this crap. So, yeah, I became not so much the enemy, but kind of, you know, like a sheeple kind of person, which I'm very happy to be. So, yeah, JFK, he really believes this. You know, I did feel sorry for his wife. I mean, there she is. I can't remember, Cheryl Hines, who, you know, famously was Larry David's wife. And Larry David, of course, is, I think, quite a committed sort of wokey Democrat, you know, the sort of people that Trump and his ilk really despise, and would like to shut down. You know, they tried to shut down Jimmy Kimmel and, you know, failed on that. And, you know, it must be a very peculiar dynamic. But nobody understands it. But, you know, you can never understand other people's relationships. And how Cheryl Hines, who has spent so much of her life working with Larry David and all his kind of woke Democrat friends, can, you know, comes home to this man who is lost, not well. Every time, maybe she, you know, maybe she has also fallen down the rabbit hole. Anyway, enough of that. So yeah, it gave me a good laugh. I mean, it's always wonderful when Trump says things which are so ridiculous that nobody takes them seriously, and I think this was definitely one of them.